Everything is energy, including anxiety. If we can manage our energy, we could manage anxiety. Let me show you how. In today's video, let me show you how you can rid yourself from anxiety once and for all. Let's go get that nugget. Welcome, ladies, to the Life Mastery for Women podcast. I'm Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind, your host. This is where we go to learn to master our life one nugget at a time. Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope I am finding you ridding yourself of anxiety and finding peace. If you are not finding inner peace, then it is my intention that in today's episode, I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation show. Welcome to the episode today. I love talking about anxiety because so many people have it, claim it, are medicated for it. They're changing what they're doing and like medications and going to different doctors and trying different things, except going inward and working at the energy level. I love it when clients come to me and say, I deal with anxiety. And I'm like, okay, come on in, sit down. Let me explain something to you. I want you to open your mind for today's episode. I want you to unlock and unhinge your thought processes as it relates to anxiety. Anxiety is an emotion. An emotion is energy. When we work at the energy field, this is when we get to rid ourselves of emotional states that we no longer want to feel. Now, anxiety is a very, very high energy. It's moving very quickly. It's very chaotic. It doesn't have a lot of uniform, and it's high up in the body. So when we talk about chakras, the 7 chakras that line the spine, we start with the lower chakras, the root, the sacral, the solar. Those 3 chakras are anchored in the planet. Those ones represent and are associated with our human form, our human existence, and are anchored in the 3D world. The heart chakra is the bridge between the 3D world and the spiritual world. And then the upper chakras, the throat, the third eye, and the crown, are all anchored and all associated with the spiritual realm. When we combine these chakras together and we begin to open up the chakra channel from the crown to the root and the root to the crown, in the heart is where we begin to create. When our energy is in the heart, we take the spiritual form from the upper chakras into the heart, and we take the thing that we want to create up through the grounded chakras, up through the root, the sacral, and the solar, into the heart in our place to create. That is the center. When we are feeling anxious, all of our energy is high up in the upper chakras, leaving our heart, moving up. Usually we feel it in our throat, our head, our arms, our chest, our upper back. That's where we feel the anxiety. We don't feel it down in the root. We don't feel it in our feet, right? We don't feel it in the root and the sacral. We feel it high up in the upper chakras. When our energy is high up in the upper chakras and they're not anchored solidly in the earth and connected to Mother Earth, our body starts to feel nervous, like our soul is leaving. It starts to feel scared and in fear. And when it's in fear, we feel anxious. All of our thoughts are spinning and our body is like, help me. It's in this panic and it's in this high fear state. And what we need to do is now bring that energy and push it down into the body. Meditation is so important here because it connects you with you. It also connects you to Mother Earth and it connects you to source energy. Having this trifecta, if you will, this relationship and connection between you and your soul and your purpose here and you and your body, right? This whole organism of your thoughts and your mind and your choices and your physical existence, your physical human form, as well as that connection with Mother Earth and with source energy, you are no longer going to feel anxiety. So much so, you're not even going to remember what anxiety feels like because you're going to know how to manage the emotion, how to manage the energy. This is where I work. When I realized that this secret was out there and nobody was talking about it. Mostly nobody talks about it because people don't want to. They want an easy fix. They want to go get a pill. They want to talk to a doctor. Then they go back because the medication stops working. They up the dose. They change the prescription. They get something different. The doctor says, I don't really know. This is supposed to work. Okay, now this is going to work. Okay, now this. And you do this for years and years and years. The emotion wants to be felt and corrected. And if we don't go inward and feel it and connect with it, we're going to continue to feel it. So new medication stifles it for a little while, but it doesn't stay down, does it? You recognize that it shows I want to say it's like it rears its ugly head again, because you are meant to feel. You are meant to feel. And we go, yeah, but Jen, that anxiety doesn't feel good. It feels terrible. And I agree with you. But I go, do you want to live your life stifling your emotions? Because if you stifle the negative ones, you also stifle the good ones, which is why when I look out into the world and I'm shopping and I see people and cashiers and people working and customers, and nobody's happy. Nobody's in joy. They are sullen and content and bored, and they're all heavily medicated. They're like zombies walking the nation. And I go, let's get into our bodies again. Let's connect with ourselves. Let's deepen our connection with Mother Earth and deepen our connection with Source Energy and really get in there and connect. Because when we can connect and we can manage those emotions, we can begin to manage our life. Those emotions are meant to be felt. Emotion stands for energy in motion. And anxiety is a very fast, chaotic energy, which is why it doesn't feel good. It feels terrible. And sometimes people think they like know they have it, but they don't really know what it feels like. So my very first step for you is to feel the energy. I want you to go inward when you are feeling anxious. It's hard. I get it. You know, when I didn't really deal with anxiety. Nerves, I dealt with nerves a lot, like nervous energy, which was okay. It was like butterflies and kind of like this high moving energy. And I love working out. So I would just go into my gym downstairs, or I'd go outside and I would work out. I would move those body parts even without knowing what I was doing. Like rock climbing. I have a rock climbing wall in my backyard. And years ago, I used to climb all the time, and I would go climb a tree. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but it is about me getting connected with my body. So I want to encourage you, first of all, when you are feeling that emotion, is to stop what you're doing, close your eyes, and feel it. Go inward, pay attention. How does it feel? Sense it. Turn your senses on and close out your outer senses. Turn on your inner sense. Where is it located in the body? Where do you feel this anxiety? Upper or lower body, left or right side, front or back? You can start with as simple as that. And then, what does it look like? Close your eyes. And if you can't visualize, that is a skill that definitely needs to be honed, and just continue to be open to the idea of visualization will come to you with practice. But I want you to go in and sense it. I want you to go in and see if you can understand, how big is it? How fast is it moving? Where is it located? How heavy is it? I can tell you my experience with anxiety. It kind of starts down low, like in my gut, and just kind of, it's like an eruption, and it just goes, and it just goes up the body. And it's like in my head and my shoulders, across my chest, and all like into my arms. So if I'm home, which most of the time I am, I work at home, right? And I'll go downstairs and I'll just lift some weights. I have a weight machine. I will do some presses. If I feel like it's like in my whole body, I will run on the treadmill. I'll take the dogs for a walk. I'll get outside and get grounded, because I understand. And then I'm going to bring my awareness inward, and I'm going to go, okay, what do I need to do? Now, when it comes to energy like this, one of the next things, the first is just the awareness, is going inward and bringing about your awareness of this energy. The next thing is to move the energy in the opposite way that it's showing itself. So for example, when you're really happy, your whole body is buzzing, right? It's this coordinated energy that's through your whole body, and you might go dance or run or play or climb or play with your children or move your body in some way. It encourages. You're moving your body according to that energy, and you want to keep it. If you have energy that doesn't feel good, like depression, grief, sadness, overwhelm, anxiety, do the opposite. to help you move the energy out. When we're depressed, the last thing we want to do is get up and move around, right? We want to get into bed, pull the covers up over our head, tell everyone to leave us alone, close the curtains, close the door, and just wait for it to pass. Well, when we're moving our body in the way that the energy is showing itself, and we're continuing to stay physically in that space, we are encouraging that energy to stay. So when you're depressed and in grief and sadness, even though it's going to be as hard as hell, grief and depression and sadness is very, very heavy. It's very thick. It's very heavy. It's very dark. And you're going to have to do everything you can to move your physical body and bring in the light. Throw back the curtains. Open your chest, open your arms. Even if you're just laying on the bed, just open your arms way up and open your eyes and look up and open the curtains and let the light in. You will gradually begin to feel better. And pretty soon you'll be up. And when you're up and moving around, then you get outside. You breathe in the fresh air, fill your lungs with the crisp, cool air, and move your body. So in anxiety is very light, buzzing, upper part of your body. So you're going to slow down. You're going to stop what you're doing. You're feeling that anxiety. You're stopping what you're doing. You're going to bring awareness to it. Where is it located? Okay. And what is it doing? It's very fast. It's very chaotic. So I need to do the opposite. I need to move slower. I need to breathe in deeply. I feel it in my upper body. So I'm going to move my upper body, but I'm going to move it slow and large. And I'm going to bring in some weight, meaning that's like if I move slow and I contract my muscles, I'm going to collect that energy. When I collect it, I'm going to push it down. I'm going to push it down to the ground. I'm going to feel my feet on the floor. Sometimes I might even lay on the floor. I might lay on the floor and do like snow angels on the floor. I might go lay outside in the grass and just slow everything down. Breathe in deeply and bring your energy into your heart space. When you collect your energy there, then you're going to push your energy down into the lower chakras. I can't believe how fast this worked. In 2017, I had abdominal surgery. I had a very large, just a little bit smaller, or I was right around the same size as like a softball size tumor. And I had a full hysterectomy and an oophorectomy, meaning so a full hysterectomy, of course, but then I also had both my ovaries removed, which then immediately sent me into what's called artificial menopause. And so I was dealing with a lot of all of a sudden hormone issues, and the doctor and the nurse that I had this procedure done with did not recommend. They didn't recommend. I didn't know anything about it. They didn't say anything. I didn't ask, but any kind of hormone replacement. So I'm like an empty cookie jar now. I'm walking around, and all of a sudden I'm way moodier than I used to be, and I was always moody. Way moodier and dealing with some major hormonal changes. Well, that's when I started dealing with depression that first year. All of 2017, I was depressed. It was a dark space for me. I gained a bunch of weight. I wasn't moving. I didn't do anything. I didn't want to. And then all of a sudden dealing with anxiety. And for a few months there, I would say probably from April to like October, I was on like this antidepressant, anti-anxiety or anti-depression medicine. And I hated it. I hated the side effects. It made me feel numb. It made me feel like I'm just like walking around with my brain turned off. And my doctor then, she was like, you can't, and she knows how I feel about medication. She's like, you cannot just stop taking this. You have to wean yourself off of it. By October, I came in, I'm like, I'm not taking this anymore. And she goes, you have to give yourself some time to wean off of it. I said, I need to be off this by the end of the year. Or she goes, she said, you can be off this by the end of the year. And I said, I'm going to be off this by the end of the month. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not living like this. And she's like, what about the hormone replacement? I'm like, what are you talking about? and she goes, the doctor who did the procedure, she goes, he didn't recommend a hormone replacement. I said, no. She's like, well, you should have been on that for a while, right? So I started going inward more and dealing with the energy and becoming an expert on the energy that's flowing inside my body. And to do that, to become an expert on the you that's inside, the spiritual version of you that's inside, that intuitive version of you, the most powerful version of you, to start building that relationship is through a meditation practice. Now, I know a lot of people are getting all these meditation apps. They're using Calm and Insight Timer and Headspace. All of those are fantastic apps. They're easy to use. They're lovely. They're wonderful. They're beautiful. I recommend them. But when it comes to really solidly building your relationship with you, somewhere in there, You're going to have to be okay with the silence, because it is in that silence that is the power of you. That's the way in. That's the doorway. So listening to guided meditations is definitely a way to go in the beginning. I highly recommend Insight Timer. Some of my favorite teachers are doing guided meditations in there. There's courses, classes, different meditations from music to binaural beats, to align the chakras. There's chakra stuff. There's ambient. There's guided. There's 5 minutes. There's 90 minutes. There's all kinds. Insight Timer. The app looks like it's a white background with a bronze Tibetan bowl is the icon. And it's amazing, and I recommend it. But eventually, silence is going to be your best friend. And that's how we become aware and we're able to really get into that meditative state. When we're listening to guided meditations, sometimes it distracts us just enough that we can't fully immerse that meditation state. And then that way we can't really connect. So my step 3 is a meditation practice. It is my biggest, I'm a huge advocate for it. I know how hard it is to start. I know that it can be distracting and it's hard and you don't feel successful. But here's the thing. A year from now, God willing, you're still on this planet and you don't do much. You're still going to be dealing with anxiety. So beginning a meditation practice is going to help to elevate the body. It's going to help you to solve problems. It helps you to remain calm. It helps you to deal with situations that come up in your life in such a wonderful, empowered way that you wouldn't think meditation. Sitting still helps me do that. Now, yes, because it connects you with the inner power of you. You begin to build that relationship with a more powerful version of you. And as you turn down the noise in your mind, you basically begin to organize the energy in your body. Remember, the life cycle I've talked about a couple different times is it starts with a thought that goes to your emotional state that leads to action and behavior that leads to your belief system that then creates the result. And this cycle just keeps going and going. Well, in order to change, I need to change my thoughts. And so I want to change. I want to invite you to open your thoughts to go, what is on the other side of anxiety? What could possibly be there for me? If I wasn't feeling anxious, what would I be feeling? And I want you to explore that. And if you need some ideas and some tools or some other positive emotions, is go to Google and type in, give me a positive emotional word list, and you'll get 200 different words that are positive states. So look through that list and go, if I wasn't feeling anxiety, what would I be feeling? And it's such a beautiful thing because as your mind gets open, if you go, I'm curious, which I just talked about in the last episode, I'm curious, what is on the other side of anxiety for me? And someone, it might be peace. Someone, it might be joy. For some other person, it might be love. It might be harmony or balance. What is it for you? Because that's what matters. What is it for you? This is something I practice all the time as an entrepreneur. And I'm generally high strung when it comes to my business. And I put a lot of pressure on myself. I'm totally a workaholic, but I put a lot of pressure on myself and I deal with overwhelm and I put a lot of things on my plate and I have these really high expectations for myself. And most of the time I don't fulfill my own expectation and I feel this overwhelm and I have to stop often. And I go, okay, what am I feeling right now? I'm totally overwhelmed. I say it all the time. I'm totally overwhelmed. And then if someone were to say to me, if you weren't feeling overwhelmed, what would you be feeling? And if they might say, oh, you'd be calm. But for me, it's clarity. And meditation gives me clarity. And if I skip a couple days, I start feeling overwhelmed and irritable. And I notice right away. And I stop and I look and I'm so irritated today. It's been 2 days since I meditated last. So it is a practice that I really, really encourage anyone to start. 5 minutes, 5 times a day, 5 days a week. Give it a try. It's fun, it's exciting because it's new and it's fresh and the results are amazing. The things that can happen that you've been trying to push along for years happen the second after you're done meditating. There are things that I've been trying to solve problems I'm trying to solve and I can't find a solution for it. And I do a meditation and I literally come out of meditation with a solution. It's amazing. I love it so much. And it gives me such confidence. And I want you to have the same thing. I want you to have that confidence and that ability to not only solve your problems, but to eliminate anxiety. And I ask you this, before I wrap up this episode, I ask you this. What would it be worth to you? What would it be worth to you to live without anxiety? Would it be amazing? Would it be amazing if you are feeling anxious and you could go in and you can find the awareness and look at it and move your body in a way that moves it out and do a meditation and never have to feel anxious again? What would it be worth to you in your life? I hope this finds you well, and I hope that you just open your mind just a little bit to the suggestions. Everything I suggest, I have tried, I've done, and I've had success with. And I think that as I share my tools and my experience with you, that I hope that you understand that I'm standing right here, linking arms with you and going through this life together. Life is hard, and our transformation doesn't have to be. The tools that I find are simple yet powerful tools. I want things fast. I don't want to deal with anxiety for a year. I don't want to deal with it for 3 minutes. So what do I got to do? I know there's a way. And I hope that this way finds you in just a space that allows you to be a little bit open and a little bit curious. Wow, that may have felt like a lot of information in today's episode, but if you're looking for support and a deeper knowledge of what we talked about today, then let's connect. You can learn more about how I work and how you can work with me. Send me an email to the meditationroomtc@gmail.com, subject line, let's talk. And in the meantime, you can join my online Facebook community, Lady Rising, and mention that you came in through the podcast. I look forward to supporting you and connecting with you there.